Hi, lovely people. I have a coffee, the baby's sleeping. I actually washed my hair, I ate breakfast, the kids are at school. Before I start working today, I just wanted to send a quick update. First of all, kudos to all the people who vlog, blog, or make videos, because you know how much time and effort you actually put into those things? I recorded something already before this video. For like 20 minutes, I'm like talking, stopping, so much wrong with that video. So now this is take 4 or 5. And the baby's crying. Okay, so I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna attend to him and I'll be back. Okay, baby's taken care of. So as I was saying, wanted to share a little update about how things are going. So first of all, things are amazing. We love it here. I love Israel. I love where we live. It's like a better landing than we had imagined. I mean, we came with a positive mindset, but you know, it could have been a lot worse and a lot more could have gone wrong. And so when a few people have said to me like, oh, but it's just the honeymoon phase. And I'm like, yeah, it is the honeymoon phase, but it could have gone a lot worse. So I'm grateful that we started on a good positive note. And we're gonna store all those positive memories for the future when things get tough and life gets real and all of that. So what is going on? If I seem like I'm in a million directions, it's because I am going in a million directions. That's what it feels like. I feel like we're still trying to get things sorted out with schools and paperwork. I thought paperwork was done in Canada. It's not. There's still more. And what else is going on? And then there's like taking care of the house and cooking and cleaning and taking care of yourself and taking care of the kids when they get home. And we're doing some gardening. That's my happy place. I enjoy that. There's just like keeping in touch with everybody with a time difference of 9 or 10 hours. So yeah, it's been super busy. Every day is super busy. I go to bed like exhausted. I have like no energy left at the end of the day. The unfortunate part is we keep getting sick. So one after the other gets ill. From what I've heard, it's due to like just you moving to a new country. And at first I thought it was just like jet lag and traveling on the plane and just adjusting to the food, despite the food being amazing and great quality of like ingredients. Have I mentioned food before? But I've been speaking with other people who've made Aliyah, and they said like for the first year or 6 months they just kept getting sick. So it could just be part of moving to a new country. So right now nobody's sick. The baby's teething, but that's it, thank God. So hopefully everybody stays healthy. I feel like there's still a lot to like organize and get used to and manage everything. So that part is a little bit challenging because the kids are getting used to being in school after being homeschooled up until this point. They're hearing Hebrew for 6 hours. So by the time they come home, they're like mentally exhausted. And then they're home and then they're acting up, misbehaving and whatever. So that's a little bit challenging because you're like looking at them like, whose kid are you? Like, we've never done this before. So that's fun. That's when I get out my John Rosemond book and I'm like, okay, what do I do? I need to like brush up on this. Yeah. So that's been fun. And the language, like for myself, I'm home most of the time. And when I go out to the grocery store, it's not really enough. Or if I go to the shul on Shabbat, it's still not enough for me to like, it's not consistent enough. So I really need to be on it and I need to like be tough with myself to make sure that I'm using it and practicing. And I thought prior to moving here that I'm gonna get to Israel and there's gonna be Hebrew everywhere. So I'm just gonna pick it up. I'm just gonna deal with it. I'm just gonna learn. But that hasn't happened because a lot of people speak English here and then they hear you struggling in Hebrew and then they switch to English. And I kind of just go with it and that's not so good. So, yeah, I need to figure that part out. I need to take a course or be really disciplined and just practice on my own. So yeah, so that's that. I'm really glad that we're starting out here, even if we don't stay here forever. It's nice that we have everything we need, the stores, the banks, the healthcare, all of that. And what else? I also like that people are like people are not afraid to help. Like even this morning, I went to the market, the McCulloughs, and I had the baby in the stroller and I was pulling a basket. They were struggling a little bit. And this other lady was like, she asked if she could help me. And so there's two pieces to the story. So she offered to help. That never happened in Richmond, where I used to live. People don't seem to care. I'm not sure why. I'm sure people do care, but the culture there is the mentality is like you watch and you observe and you don't get involved. And so here, she offered to help me, and then she heard me struggling in Hebrew and she wanted to switch to English, and I said like, no, thanks so much, I need to practice. So even if like a kid starts wandering away, like in a minute, like someone's yelling, hey, whose kid is this? Or if they opened the trunk and something fell out and like somebody was like, hey, your water fell out, and like people will like yell across the street at each other something. Like they're not afraid to be loud and expressive. And I appreciate that. And even I'll just share an experience that's not mine. It was a friend's experience. She was at a shopping center and she, from what I remember her saying, like she had a mishap. She didn't see the curb and she was holding her 1-year-old and she fell and hit her head and hurt her hand. Luckily, thank God, the baby was fine, but he was crying because she fell with him and nobody stopped to help her. People saw, nobody helped. Only one lady at the end, after she was like already picking herself up and she's like, you know, then the lady was like, oh, you're gonna be okay. Like, you know, that would never happen here. Being here only a few weeks, I can see that it's just like, people are just, willing to like jump to help you. I love it. And I love that it just feels like, you know, if you're gonna need help legitimately, someone will help you. I think almost 11 years, 10 years, Alex and I have been together. We've been talking about moving to Israel because Alex came to Canada. He wasn't going to stay in Canada. That was never the plan. He just met me and he got stuck there. You know, we were discussing like, where should we raise our family? And we were talking about all the pros and cons of both Israel and Canada. You know, there were some times when I was like, come on, let's just go. Let's just do it. And then he'd be like, no, I'm not really ready. And then vice versa. In 2019, we decided, okay, in 2020, let's move. But then, you know, 2020 happened. The rest is history. It affected our plans, just like most of the world. And so we put it on hold. And because of that, like, little bump in our plans, it kind of like shook up our resolution to move because we were like, okay, maybe we should readjust. Maybe it's not meant to happen. And still a conversation that we would have very often. But like at the end of 2021, we were like, we're here. We're not in Canada. We're staying. And then February, kind of like, he said like, what are we doing here? Let's move to Israel. And I was like, you're right. Let's do this. Like, let's go. And then it took a year because of paperwork, and I could make a whole video on how that whole process happened. Like there was so many delays. At that point, like I was like nervous that we wouldn't make it. And now I look around, we're here. And just because took us so long to finally decide, and then it took us another year after we decided, and like the feeling like, oh, we might not make it. Like, when are we gonna go? It's made it so much more special and precious that we are here. And we can't believe it took us so long to make the decision to move here. And again, like when I say that, like I said in the beginning, some people are like, oh, well, it's just the honeymoon phase. It could be. Who knows? Maybe in a month or 6 months from now, my updates, my posts might be much different. I don't know. Life has many ups and downs, but right now it's positive and we're sticking with that. And like even within the positivity, there is some negative. Like it is far from where all of my friends and family live. Like I'm not gonna be able to just jump in the car and go on a road trip to Alberta like we have for the past few years, and vice versa. So that part is hard. There's a wedding in the family this year, and I won't be able to go, and so that's sad. You know, those types of things. It's gonna be hard, but overall, we're really glad that we're here, and so many times something happens and we look at each other like, wow, this is incredible. Only here would this happen. I'm really grateful. And even though I feel that way, like we took too long to make the decision, I'm grateful for how things went and that we're here now and just to soak it all up. So that's our update.